This is a wonderful start, isn't it? What? Go back. Take two. It has come to this. Yes. The cat in the hat. Cat. Hat. In French, chapeau. In Spanish, he's a gato una sombrero. Yes. And now the thing is messed up here. Hold on. We're tilting that way. Big LT told me yesterday, you need to get a new tripod. I know this. Stay up. Stay up. Stay up. Just stay right there. Stay right there. And don't move. I still have my filming apparatus that I could use if this gets too much. We're gonna try. Okay, hold on. Because at some point, no, stay. Won't you stay with me? Come on, turn. All right, so this goes back. Watching you back many years to the point I need to admit that it's too tilted. Like, why can't it just be in the middle like that? Okay. I have to admit that I had this movie. First of all, got all over my arm. I had to admit that I had this movie on the list for birth month 3 years in a row, and every single year I took it off because I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I've owned this movie since at least 2023 at this point, maybe even earlier. I bought it at Walmart. It was like $5 or something like that. I don't know. Wasn't that expensive. So there's that. And I had it on this list, and I took it off, and I put it back on, and I took it off, and I put it back on, and I finally, once I start recording these, I don't want to have to change it. I want to try to start solidifying. But then even last night, after I did the rundown, and I'm watching NXTs with Big LT, I'm sitting there thinking, is there any movie that I could put in its place? Because I just don't. I'm just not feeling it. But I limited myself. God damn it. I limited myself here to, well, it has to be from 2003 to 2006. Because the next movie I'm doing isn't from 2006. So, no. I have to just duct tape this thing so it doesn't move. There's an idea. So it doesn't move. It just stays where it is. It doesn't. No. So the only movie I could come up with that would fit in there is My Ass! It's a good movie, actually. No, it's Peter Jack. Nah. I don't want to have to duct tape it now. Peter Jackson's King Kong. The only movie I could come up with in between the years of 2003 and 2006 is where the next one comes in. Peter Jackson's King Kong. The movie's over 3 hours long. So I was not going to sit through that. Yes, I'd rather sit through this than a over 3 hour film directed by the guy who did Lord of the Rings trilogy, Academy Award winning director. And I hear that movie is that the King Kong is a fantastic film. But length supersedes stupidity, apparently. And I actually did watch this back in 2003, or 2004, whenever it came out on DVD. What year did this come out? Had to be late, right? November 2003. So, because we discussed that the VHS, we looked it up, because I was watching Tony from Hack the Movies, his review of Rundown, and he read the VHS and it said 2004. I'm like, no, the Rundown came out in 2003, but the VHS is copyright 2004. That's not when the movie came out, though. So I watched this when this came out on DVD in 2004. It was a family movie, and as you can imagine, it didn't go along well. I think this was one of the ones we watched with my mom. Yeah. And it's not hard to see why they thought this movie was going to succeed after the success of the Grinch movie with Jim Carrey. But, that movie had one thing this movie didn't have. Two things we didn't have. It had Jim Carrey and Ron Howard. And in this one, we have Bo Welch directing and Mike Myers, who is basically doing caricatures that could be thrown in. Like, what kind of... It feels like he took his Linda Richmond character from Coffee Talk, the Coffee Talk sketch from Saturday Night Live, and turned it into the cat. Because that's what it seems like. The story is the basic story. So they did what the Grinch did. Took the basic story and expanded upon it. But I feel like everything they did to expand upon this one was negative, whereas, like, everything they did to expand on the Grinch story worked. Here, not so much. You have corny jokes that probably Mike Myers made up on the spot. You have an unnecessary villain in Alec Baldwin as Larry. Call me Lawrence! No, I will call you Larry. And just... I don't know. They needed to add a villain. Yes, the villain of the mayor was sort of added in the Grinch, but it felt like an organically added character to fit in with the rest of the story. Whereas here, it's just like, I don't know. There's not much to the Cat in the Hat. What is the Cat in the Hat story? Mother's going out. Kids are stuck at home on a rainy day. There is no babysitter, but there's a babysitter here. Then a cat shows up to make the rainy day better and mess up the house, and he cleans the house. Thing one, thing two, he goes away, and everything is done. That's the basic plot, but then other things are added in, like Alec Baldwin. Because we have to stretch this out to an hour and a half runtime, the things are now uncontrollable. And, like, they give the audience and the characters a reason why they like that, and then no one thinks to just, do... Because they're like, oh, the things are the opposite of what they say, of what you tell them. Then I mention that. It's like, so start telling them the opposite. Like, mess up the house. Don't leave. Don't go back in that box. Like, the only thing that we get is like, don't put the dog down, and then they throw the dog, which is not what they said to do. I don't know. Also, I don't think they had a dog in the original cartoon or book. The Dr. Seuss books are so simple. Of course, I read the book when I was like 5, and then I watched the cartoon when I was a kid, right? A little cartoon. And they cast in this, I mentioned Mike Myers and Alec Baldwin. You got Kelly Preston, Spencer Breslin, Dakota Fanning, Sean Hayes, who plays 2 roles of the boss, who says she's fired. And he's also a fish. I blew up my throat, don't I? And Amy Hill. You may know as Mrs. Hakasawa from the Lilo and Stitch movies and cartoon. And she was the neighbor lady in the new one, which I have right here, by the way. By this point, you would have seen my whole video and know I bought it anyway. But yeah, this was actually before I didn't like Dakota Fanning. And when did you start not liking Dakota Fanning? I don't mind her now, but it's just like she was in everything. And I think it was Charlotte's Web, where I just saw that thing her face plastered all over Nickelodeon as they were promoting the shit out of that movie, that I just went, no, I don't want to see this girl again. She's everywhere. Go away. I think she won a Kids' Choice Awards that year for that damn movie. I think. I don't know. No, I'll have to look it up. Hold on. I believe Charlotte's Web came out in 2005. Who am I to judge a child? I don't think I really started. I think it wasn't until Push, that movie, when she's fine in that movie, I was like, okay. 2006 is when that came out. Awards. So it must have. Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, favorite female movie star, Dakota Fanning Winner. Winner. Yeah, she won for that. Did this movie win any awards? Besides maybe a Razzie? Legacy, canceled sequel, animation adaptation. So, quite interestingly, this is, and you probably already know this, but because of this movie, Dr. Seuss's widow banned any more live-action adaptations of the Seuss books. Which is why we got animated movies like The Lorax, and they rebooted The Grinch. And they're going to do I'm sure there's another Dr. Seuss one that I'm missing. Horton Hears a Who. That's right. And then they're redoing The Cat in the Hat with Bill Hader, who, interestingly, did play the Cat in the Hat on the Saturday Night Live sketch. That's right. Or it was implied that he had sex with the mom previously and that the daughter was his. They didn't always say that. But then they ruined the sketch by having Terry Kim show up as Thing 2. And it's like, well, what's the joke? What's the joke now? Because it's like, if it was just a normal guy coming in, it makes sense. But like, what, she likes to bang magical creatures, or you know what would have been funnier? If it was the Grinch. If he walked in as the Grinch, that would have been funnier than Thing 1 and Thing 2. Because he'd be like, really? Really? The Grinch? I think it would have been funny. But anyway, see how much I'm trying to avoid talking about the plot of this movie. I did talk about the plot of the movie. It's here. The negative reception of the film led to Seuss's widow, Audrey Geisel, however I mispronounce that, forbidding any future live-action adaptations of her husband's work, including planning a sequel based on the second book, The Cat in the Hat Comes Back, and an animated re-adaptation, which Warner Bros. Pictures has said. So it's not even Universal is releasing the cartoon now. No. So like I said, because we got to make a movie out of it, they have to add stuff. So now they explain that they live in the city of Anvil. You get it? Anvil? Anvil. Ow. Get it? Their mom, they added the mom, well, I guess there was a mom character in the book and stuff too. Their mom's name is Joan. She works for Neat Freak Hank Huberflube. Okay, I gotta admit, that's a pretty Dr. Seuss name. That's a pretty good Dr. Seuss name for making it up. That's a pretty good Seuss name. Humberflube, not Huberflube, Humberflube, and is dating next door neighbor Larry Quinn, and they ruined it. He's got a regular name, right? And the whole thing with him is you're supposed to hate this character from the beginning because he wants to send Conrad to military school. And let me tell you something. If you're a parent that even considers sending your child or children to military school, you should be arrested for child abuse. I don't care what you're trying to justify to me. Oh, it's about disciplining your kid. No, that's child abuse. Sending your child to a military school is child abuse. And you should be arrested for it. No one should be put in any military situation until they're 18, or when they're ready to join the military, ship out, whatever. And it's like, well, how do you control your wild kid? How about you actually, be a parent, right? Because if you're trying to push them off on someone else, you've given up on being a parent. It's like, oh, I'm going to send them to military school. I'm going to send them to boarding school. I'm going to, short of send him to a psychiatrist, that's something. At least you're trying to help. Psychiatrist could help, or, but or behavioral specialist, behavior specialist, something like that. But no, military school is, anyone who sends their kids to military school should be arrested for child abuse, because that's basically what it is. You're basically sending them to be abused by someone else, making them do several push-ups. And I speak from experience. I was not sent to military school. My mom's first husband was in the Marines. And of course, me being fat, I was the center of his, let's say I was the first one to get a share of his abuse. Whereas, I'm fat, so in order for me to have a treat at night, or dessert, or whatever, treat, you call it a dessert, treat, whatever, I had to do sit-ups. I've never been able to do push-ups because my ass is not strong enough to push myself up and down. Right? I had to do sit-ups for a treat. To the point that some nights I just didn't want to, but and he didn't understand my disability, so he was trying to get me to do algebra and shit. I don't know that shit. He was, no. I'm going to move on. Because this, yeah. So she's stuck at home. They're stuck at home with lethargic babysitter, Mrs. Kwan. She's sleeping the whole time. She's just sleeping the whole time. So she goes, yeah. And they're not allowed to enter the living room because they're doing a office party there. Mr. Kwan falls asleep, so the Cat in the Hat shows up, and this is where you get the whole, he's got many jokes, right? It's just, this could be something. They try to visualize everything. There's also a segment where they want to make cupcakes, so he's then sitting with them as they watch a cooking show, where he's in the cooking show twice. Once as the host, once as a British guy, and then the joke is that the cupcakes explode all over the place. So this is where they hire Thing 1 and Thing 2 to come clean the place. And the way they clean is just to shake it off of one thing and it lands on the other. And I'm like, well, and they keep doing this. I'm like, why not just clean it? Right? And if you've read the book or see the cartoon, you know it's going to end him coming in with that machine just cleaning everything anyway, which it does, but because it's a movie, you have to take, And then there's a side plot with Lawrence, Alec Baldwin's character, where he's trying to get it where Conrad gets sent to military school. And it's revealed that he only wants to get with the mom for her money, because and I never get this, the people come and repossess his television, and it's like, but this is stuff, I guess maybe if you bought it with a credit card, but if you paid with cash, I don't think they can legally do that. If you paid with a credit card, and other funds, I guess they could, but something you paid cash for, I don't think they can do that, because it's something you actually bought, right? I never actually see anyone's stuff get repossessed. It's like, I don't know. It would never happen to me, but Yeah. And this is where they establish the thing one, thing two. They do the opposite of what you say. So again, I'm going. Just all you gotta do is say, "Don't clean up the house. Don't go back in the box." That's it. And there's a thing with a lock, looks like a crab, that jumps on the dog's collar, and the dog runs away again, so they gotta go after the dog. And there's a whole thing where Sally sees a birthday party she wasn't invited to. There's no resolution to that. She just and then we gotta hide, dog or cat hide, and he hides in a pinata. Is this where the joke happens? Dirty hoe, and it's an actual hoe, like it for gardening and stuff. I'm sorry, baby. You know I love you. Because kids need that joke. Yeah. So now, Larry sees the dog running around and decides to use that as leverage to put Conrad in the military school. So he tries to track down the dog. The cat intercepts him and tricks him. And the cat almost blows it. Because it's like, he's pretending, he's like, oh, God, I don't call them cats. I call them feline Americans. Or canine Americans. I don't call them dogs. I call them canine Americans. And he's got the cat while Larry's distracted. He just starts singing, how much is that canine American in the window? And they have to go, cat! It's like, oh. I'm like, but sometimes I'm pretty sure he ad-libbed that and they had to, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like, the plan was to get the dog, and now... So now Larry's trying to tell Jonah about the kids, but they're stalled by the things 1 and 2 posing as police officers. And Larry then races after them and tells Jonah to meet him at the house. When the 3 get to the house, Larry cuts the children off and orders them inside the house. So he's allergic to cats. They showed that earlier. And cat scares him. And then the house is like the mother of all messes now, because the box, because they need a lock to lock up this box, and the box is uncontrollably. Because Mrs. Kwan, they put Mrs. Kwan on there and she got to answer the phone, so now it's open. It's all over the place. So they have to go through this real house to find the crate and lock it. And they do lock it, but then it returns to normal proportions and immediately collapses, but it's not completely collapsed, it's just the inside is all messed up. And they have an argument where it's revealed that the cat planned everything, even Conrad opening the door, the dog running off, everything. Oh, opening the door, opening the crate, dog running off, everything. And they kick him out, he leaves, and Conrad and Sally then decide that they have to face the consequences and take responsibility, and the cat returns because that was the lesson. I want to point out they didn't do anything like what. The whole lesson is that they have to be responsible. But there was no point before Cat showed up that they needed to learn that lesson. Yes, Conrad is a bit of a spoiled brat or whatever, but like, I don't know. I feel like they should have done something before. Because like, Cat uses the dress to try to wipe the stuff off the wall. It's her dress, whatever, but no. He uses the cleaning machine and with the help of the things fixes the house. And they become friends again. And he leaves, Joan shows up, and Larry shows up covered in purple goop, trying to tell them what happened, but she doesn't believe him. He even tries to propose to her, and she kicks him out of the house. No. And then she has her party with the boss with the weird name is there, and and then she spends time jumping on the couch with the children. And the cat and the things walk off into the sunset. That's how the movie ends. They were going to make a sequel to this. I'm looking at this picture, and it's weird how much Mike Myers and Alec Baldwin kind of look similar here. The hair and everything. So, if I may wrap this up, I feel like Alec Baldwin's character was an unnecessary addition. I know that they needed some sort of villain. But I feel like the idea of they could get caught at any point, their mom could come home at any point, get caught, is enough. They don't need someone trying to purposely spoil the situation. I think. Right? And I think the biggest problem, because this is not in the book and this is not in the cartoon, they leave the house. The whole idea of the book and the cartoon, I know those things are short. They never leave the house. Everything happens inside the house. But of course, in an hour and a half movie, you gotta do something more. They leave the house, and you have this whole world, Dr. Seuss-like world, which is very Dr. Seuss-like. But I just feel, I don't know. But I've done it. I've watched, I've reviewed, and I'm washed my hands of this movie. So what rating do I give this movie? Well, I'm going to say it's stuck in the mud, but it's very high stuck in the mud. So it's very, it could almost be a middle of the road, but it's just slightly stuck in the mud there. So it's not the abomination everybody makes it out to be. It has its moments. It has the basic story of the Cat in the Hat, just a bunch of added jokes. But it's fine, honestly. So what are your thoughts on the Cat in the Hat? Where's my clicker? I put it somewhere right here. We got so much to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm this guy, and I'll see you in the next one.